Hello everyone and welcome to another royal reading. It's a new month, 1st of October, as I'm doing this reading, and this truly is a speculative reading. It's the kind of reading I haven't actually done before. I'm looking at a what if, and the what if today is going to be how the Harkles would get along without their titles. We know that there is a great deal of debate around royal titles at the moment, HRHs and prince and princesses and all of that. The Danish royal family is in the midst of it right now. I've done a reading on the impact possibly for the British royal family. Now I'm going to look at a speculative reading on how the Harkles would handle life without. I'm going to be doing a Celtic cross, and I am using the Tarot of Curious Creatures because they will, in my mind, be rather curious creatures if they are stripped of their titles. The Prince and Princess, well, Duke and Duchess of Sussex, the HRHs, the children get nothing. If they're stripped down to the bones of Mr. and Mrs. Mountbatten Windsor of Montecito or Bel Air or under a bridge on whatever motorway, and the cards are really hopping today. As I was doing my pre-shuffle, I always shuffle before just to get my energy into the cards. And as I'm thinking about the questions, the deck literally flew out of my hands and all over the place. So we're ready. It's doing it again. We're ready. And so, as I say, Celtic Cross, I'm going to be looking at a signifier for them without titles, challenges. Behind the scenes, what would be going on with the celebrities, their goal, their focus, how things were when they were royal adjacent, how things might go, how much harder it would be without being royal adjacent, with being so clearly cast off if it ever happens. Individually, we've got cards the wrong way around, and at the bottom of the deck, doesn't matter, just so you can see I'm not messing around here. Let's cut it now again. Oh no, not again. Still babbling. It's still Mercury retrograde, soon to be over, thank goodness. This one has knocked me flying. And we look at them individually as well and see what impact it would have on Harry and what impact it would have on Meghan. And Fluffy has climbed off her bed to join in the reading and scratch on the furniture, as she very often does now. And Page of Wands in reverse is the underlying energy of this reading. Bad news. Bad news. This doesn't bode well for them if it happens. It's going to be a blow for their PR. It's going to be quite difficult for them to have to contend with it on a PR level. So it would be bad news. It would be bad news also for their children with the Page of Wands in reverse. But definitely it would be news that they would not take kindly to, and it would reflect poorly on them in the press, in the media, social media, all the rest of it. Difficult for them to deal with, difficult for them to handle. So a signifier for the situation that they would find themselves in, the lovers. The dog's talking to me outside because he hasn't had his afternoon walk, which is why I'm in a bit of a rush. The lovers, it would force them closer together, quite interestingly. It would be us against the mean, cruel world, the mean, cruel, racist royals, the mean, cruel British public, all the rest of it. So it would ramp up their love story, and I use that expression in inverted commas because I personally don't buy it. And let's remind you, even though this is pure speculation today, it is a tarot reading for entertainment purposes. It is just pure speculation. And there is a disclaimer in the box below. But it would force them into this last hurrah. It's hardly a hurrah. The last, what's the word when you're in a battle and you reach your last ditch or whatever it is, but there's a better word for it. It's a tragic love story, us against the world. That's quite interesting. Fluffy scratching again. And the challenge that they would have to deal with. The Fool, a new start. But there are two Fool cards in this tarot deck. So you can see this one says Fool 2, second time round. And it's quite an interesting device that this tarot deck has used because, of course, Once you get to the world, you go through the major arcana, you get to the final card, which is the world, you close that chapter, end that cycle, and you go back to the Fool. You start again, but you've been once round the wheel. And then you should really start your new journey from a higher perspective. You can see she's ready to leap off there, somewhat enlightened, somewhat evolved, somewhat ascended. So their challenge would be to kickstart their lives again, their narrative, their love story, their PR, whatever narrative that they're trying to spin for our delectation. They would have to launch it from a higher perspective. Tricky when you're the Harkles, and the only gig that you've got is mouthing off about the royals and how you are wronged and hurt and wounded and all the rest of it. That's the only tale they have to tell. That's the only way that they can monetize themselves. And I'm not making that up. I am creating, I think it's Angela Levin, one of the royal authors, has said that is all they have to offer the world, viciousness towards the monarchy. So they would have some trouble rebranding themselves, reinventing themselves without their titles. And it would be this love story that they would have to monetize and try and persuade us is really something that we all need to buy into and believe. And I think many people would have difficulty with that right now. Behind the scenes, what impact would it have on their connections with people? And we have the Chariot. That technically isn't bad, but I can read it as bad, and I'm inclined to read it as bad because the Chariot is the Cancerian card. To me, it tells me that people are going to be siding with the royal family and with Prince William. And we're going to get a test of that in December when he goes over to the US for the Earthshot Award. And he is going to be collecting celebrities by all accounts. They're all flocking to be part of this. And the Harkles are going to be competing against this forceful movement forward of Prince William, the one with the title, with the status, with the prestige. Look at me, look at me. I'm not saying he's arrogant, egotistical and all of that. I'm just saying he's the one with the drive and the ambition and the whatever. The Harkles are going to be scrambling, but they're dealing with other people's ambition. This is the ambition card. It's placing yourselves strategically so that you can get in the slipstream of someone else and be pulled along behind them, really. We're talking about chariots and cars and races and things like that. The Harkles are going to have some difficulty. This to me is a very Prince William outfit. He was in his royal, not royal blue, but in his Air Force blue at the funeral. He's riding along, he's riding high, and the Harkles are going to struggle. They're going to struggle with people who want to be pulled along behind in that slipstream of being royal adjacent. So it is going to have some problems. Prince William is their problem. And so their goal, their focus, this is all speculation. What would they be trying to achieve? They would be trying to stabilize their finances, get their hands on some loot. Four of Pentacles is all about the money, all about being secure. Fours are about stability. They would be trying to stabilize their finances because not only are titles cut off, this is, I think, a lot of the indignation with the Danish royals at the moment, allowances are cut off as well. And so the Harkles would be cut loose financially if this were to happen. Again, this is pure speculation on my part. They would be scrambling to find money, to get deals, to get gigs, to stabilize finances, to get the ship back on an even keel. Hang on to whatever they've got. Hang on for dear life. So they'll be hanging on for dear life to charities that they've got their claws into. I use that term advisedly, claws. Charities that they've got their claws into, awards, things like that. The few celebrities that they still have, Oprah, Tyler Perry. I can't think of anyone else that really, Serena Williams, people like that. They will be hanging on for dear life to what they have got. So in the past, well, when they did have titles, how was it? How helpful was it to their cause? Five of Pentacles, not actually. It's quite interesting. The help, not help. They were cast out. They were cast out of the royals, and they were seen as that. So I think they're already seen as a lost cause. Quite interesting. Quite an interesting card. Possibly their lost cause was what they monetized. And as I was saying earlier on in this reading, that people are saying all they have to monetize is their sense of injury and grievance. And there it is, this Five of Pentacles. We were kicked out, we were exiled, Daddy cut us off, wouldn't pay the mortgage, wouldn't buy the designer gear for Megan, and that is what they monetized. So it's already difficult for them, or even though they still could claim Duke and Duchess and have Netflix trailing around them while they did all those 4 charity things, and they were still invited to the Jubilee, and they were at the funeral and all the rest of it. Big events that have happened this year, crazy, insanely big events. Sorry about the shouting. We have somewhat senile husky who is programmed to walk at this time. I'm a little bit late with my day, working hard at the moment, unfortunately for me. So in future, this is in the speculative future, how would life be without titles? How easy would it be? How difficult would it be? What would they be doing? 10 of Swords is this ruin. It's the ruin card, rock bottom. It's come out in the reverse, but for me it would be maximum ruin. Ruin from which there is no recovery. This would absolutely destroy their brand. It would destroy their ability to make money. It would destroy their ability to attract celebrities, people who are ambitious, very, very driven, very focused, including politically. Just by the way, because the Chariot, as I often forget to say, is a political card. Strategic maneuvering, get yourself on the political ladder. Devastating. It would be absolutely devastating for them. I cannot stress that enough. 10 of Swords in reverse is absolute ruin. Individually, how would it go for them? What would they have left to offer the world, or what impact would it have? Harry first, the 4 of Wands. He would go scampering back home so fast it's scary. The 4 of Wands. It's quite funny because that's him in his tux. We see him a lot dressed like that. He was dressed like that at the funeral, more or less, not literally. But we saw that dark suit. It's a very Harry-looking body. 4 of Wands, back to the happy home, back to the royal family, back to that safe foundation for stability. Wands, home. 4 of Wands, that is home. That is home would be calling. He would be there like a shot back. Please take me back. I'm sorry. Although it's not an apology card, it's I need to be back where it's safe, where I'm secure, back in the bosom of the family. How would Megan handle it? What impact would it have on her? 2 of Cups. Even though we've got the Lovers here, and I'm talking about how they would be spinning this story of it's us against the world, it's quite likely she would be on to someone else. Speculative, remember, purely speculative. 2 of Cups is a new romance, very attracted to each other, and she might just find herself a billionaire. That's not a Harry in that picture, not a Harry at all. We've got Harry down here, scampering home. We've got someone else, someone who looks older, who looks American, just by the kind of clothes he's wearing, somebody who looks very successful, quite charmed by Madame. She can be quite charming when she wants to be, and she'll be on to the next one like a shot. So their hopes and fears around this 10 of Cups in reverse, they're very afraid of this. They're very afraid that this would be the end of this illusion, this game that they're playing, this 10 of Cups game that they're playing. Look at us, happy families. Here we are in our perfect world with our 2 palm trees entwined in our garden in Montecito, and it would all blow up in their faces. Nobody would believe it for a second. As the titles went, the whole story would unravel. We've got 2 10s here, completion energies, bad endings, very bad endings. 10 of Cups in reverse, very bad ending. 10 of Swords in reverse, ruin, absolute calamity for them. So they are very afraid of this. They're very afraid of this whole narrative falling apart. But you can guarantee, speculating, my opinion, that plan B, C and D are being made as we speak for a new husband for her and a rush home for him. Hence the scramble to cancel the book or get the book rewritten or whatever is going on behind the scenes. Outcome. outcome of all of this happened. 9 of Wands in reverse. That's the give up, let go, fall down, can't anymore, I'm defeated card. 9 of Wands upright, and it's very interesting. It's a female energy in this card. It's normally masculine. She would be the one that would give up and go. 9, it could be a strategic maneuver by the royals, a very long game that they're playing. Just by the way, I'm just putting that thought out there, that they're playing this in a very masterful way, very strategic chess game that's going on. And 9 of Wands upright, you have got your ring of support around you, your barriers around you, you're still standing, you're battered and bruised, but you're there, you're still game. Bring it on, I can go another round. When the card is in the reverse, throw in the towel, I give up, can't anymore, I'm broken. I'm broken. She's the one, she'd be off so fast, it's scary. But anyway, that is, I thought it would just be quite entertaining, literally, to see how they would handle it, what would happen. And we see pretty clearly from the cards, it would not go well. And it would spell the end of Brand Sussex, that is for sure. Spell the end of the relationship too, if this were to happen. Who knows whether it will? We'll read on it again at some stage. But that's it from me today. Off I go to walk the dog, and thank you as ever for watching. I'll see you again tomorrow.